Welcome back to another episode. Oh my god, my voice is so squeaky, I'm sorry. I guess I can't really talk that loud. Welcome back to another episode of our NU tournament coverage I had from the tournament I went to last week. It's not a best 2 out of 3 series like the NCPL was, in case you're just tuning in now. It was a round-robin series where the amount of Pokemon you knock out is the amount of points you get, and then the total number of points that you ended up getting, the top 2 will advance to the next bracket, and then from there the placements are kind of established from there. So my opponent definitely had some interesting things going on. I've never really dealt with a Hypno in NU before. I know more or less what they kind of do. They're all about that Wish Seismic Toss life, if that's what if they're able to get them onto Wi-Fi, because I'm pretty sure Wish was from a moderately obscure event. But what else did we have going on? We had Maractus. I think I know how to deal with that. Maybe it doesn't seem like too big of a problem. I've got lots of shit that can deal with it, and then everything else is just typical NU threats. So I do not want to stay in against the Weezing, so I figure I might as well go out in a Xatu. But then again, I didn't really know what the Weezing wanted to do. I figured I would go out into something that had recovery in case he actually did just go straight out for an attacking move, like Thunderbolt or something like that. I could roost it off. I know it wasn't going to do that much. Weezings do get Thunderbolt. I don't see it very often at all, but it is something that crossed my mind. You know, just from based on everybody's inexperience in general in the room with NU, I figured I could run into some weird shit like that. But instead, I do run into Infestation, Toxic Protect, and what I'm assuming is probably going to be Pain Split or something of the sort. Some kind of recovery move, but I believe I'm actually just going to go for another Psyshock on this one. If I don't go for a Roost, I feel like I would want to go for the knockout on this thing, because it's getting pretty annoying pretty quickly. It already took out half my HP without doing anything. I think I just ended up going for a Psyshock. That makes a lot of sense. But we run into our first big boy here, Steelix, which is, you know, always a threat that I'm happy to see in NU, except for, no, not really. I do have the Heat Wave on this thing for Mega Steelix, but it's not going to be able to one-shot it from there. I forgot what I did here, to be 100% honest. I think I just pivoted out and decided to go into my Prinplup, who can take the hits fairly well. Having Typhlosion on this team also helped a lot with any of the Mega Steelixes I was going to run into. Typhlosion was a pretty good answer to the faster fire types in the tier I was going to run into, as well as, you know, just provided some really good offensive pressure against this thing. So, but I do decide to break some middle ground. I believe also get my Stealth Rocks up as well. I'm pretty sure he was expecting a Scald right there, which is why he goes out into Maractus in order to try to get the Storm Drain, I think is what it gets. But despite the plays he's making, you know, he's resisting a bunch of my stuff. I'm still finding some good wiggle room to get what I need to done with little to no consequence whatsoever. In which case, I scared off the Weezing, I went out into Prinplup, I got my rocks up, I go back out into Scyther, and now I get some good offensive momentum going on again with Scyther. I am basically going to go ahead and just U-turn out, which is, you know, that's 100% fine. I find it funny that I think these two things were the only two things that evolved with Metal Coat in Gen 2. And this thing's Mega is an NU, and Scyther's base form without Metal Coat or Mega or anything of the sort is tangling with it, and still, you know, I don't know, it's just kind of funny to see that. But I do go out in a Typhlosion, and I believe I'm just going to go ahead and go for an Eruption, because it doesn't look like anything on his team actually really wants to take any of this at all, outside of maybe Hypno. Hypno is probably like one of the only things that can take on those hits decently. And then I see this thing. This thing threw me for a loop. Now, this thing was not what I was expecting. I thought I was going to go ahead and get Thunder Wave, because I'm pretty sure that's what the male does. It's the Prankster one. But it turns out he's actually Light Screen with Calm Mind, and I think he's got other shit going on it. It's a really interesting set. It's a mono-attacking set that you guys will see in a sec. But I'm pretty sure, based on what I saw, and I might make one of these myself, that this is a Light Screen, Calm Mind, what is it? Light Screen, Calm Mind, Rest, and Psychic or Psyshock. I'm forgetting which one it is, but the idea is to get it itself beefed up really quickly, and then just Resto Chesto itself back up, because it does get the priority Rest, you know, Calm Mind, Light Screen, and whatnot. And it's probably max HP, max defense just to compensate. But once again, Specs Weezing, I have no problem staying in here, not because of my damage output, which really isn't a lot, But because his damage output is really not a lot on... Did I say Specs Wheezing? I feel like I said Wheezing. No, I definitely did not mean to say that. Regice, if I did not say that. Specs Regice is what I'm doing here. But he does Resto Chesto all the way back up, which once again is fine. I'm literally just looking for an opportunity at this point, now that I see that he has Rest, to bring in Scyther and just be able to U-turn out on him. Because it's either going to A, scare him off, or B, he's just going to leave it in and die. Because Choice Band and U-turn is going to be able to take the shit out. So... this entire time, he's only been able to get a few hits off because his light screen's wearing off, and he's also had to recover as well. And I'm just hitting Ice Beam. That's all I've been doing, fam. Just hitting light screen. Or, not light screen, Ice Beam. Because I'm Specs. You know, what else am I going to do? He can set up all he wants, but as soon as I get him down to a low enough range, now that I realize his entire moveset, he can't paralyze my Scythe or anything like that. I've got priority quick attack. I just got to get it low enough, or like I said, I have to coax it into a rest. I get a freeze here. This was really unfortunate, but I'm going to tell you guys in the long run that it really doesn't end up mattering that much, because the best thing he probably could have done there was go for another Psychic. And he ends up thawing and resting in the first place anyway. It only would have been a big deal if he wasn't able to get that off, because it was basically just one dead turn, which he probably would have calm-minded. I probably would have done around the same amount of damage, or even if he Psychicked right there, I still would have been in a decent amount of HP as well. But... now that he's asleep with no Chesto Berry, I'm actually going to go ahead and go back to that plan A that I was thinking of. We'll just go out to Scyther and just choke him out with a U-turn. So, that thing was a very interesting threat, and I realized that because I did not have any Dark types on this team, it was a thing that was going to end up working out fairly well for him. Imagine if I brought Eagle-Eye Scraggy. Freaking shout out to PK to that one. But just get a U-turn off, and just going to be able to get out of there. So... I'm trying to think about what else he could bring in after this, and I'm realizing that Typhlosion is not a bad pivot here, because I can just go ahead and Eruption just about everything else. And holy shit, this Hypno is what made me realize that Regice is probably the star fucking player of this team. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go out into Xatu, expecting once again a Thunder Wave, because, you know, I'm thinking in terms of standard sets. But this is twice I've bounced back a move, and it does not affect the user for whatever reason. And I'm actually going to go ahead and U-turn out right now, expecting, I think I was expecting a Psychic here, or I really don't know what I was expecting. Probably like a Shadow Ball or something that wasn't going to do much to Regice, but he ends up going for a Headbutt, which is... interesting. Doesn't do too much to Regice. And right here, this is the point in time where I am Specs Sleep Talk, and I lock in on Sleep Talk. I was also fully relying on the fact that his Hypnosis was going to hit on that one. You know, I was just feeling it. I was actually really in love with that idea. And I see why it's on here now, because there's actually a lot of sleep powder users in this tier slash hypnosis things slash things that can put you to sleep, and they're all special attackers. Regice is great for this. So I go for Focus Blast. It really doesn't do that much, but this is the part of the game where it basically turns into YOLO-mon, because I don't know what I'm going for. Do you know what I'm going for? No. You might as well try to predict a rampaging iceberg that has sleeping eyes, I guess. I don't even know what Regice looks like when it's asleep. Can somebody do its eyes like dim or something? I really don't know about that. But I think I hit my maximum amount of sleep turns, so I'm just going to go ahead and get out of there anyway. Decide to go into my Xatu. If I can live this hit, whatever it wants to go for, I'm going to go ahead and Heat Wave, but I've seen these things sometimes with Heavy Slam. I've seen it with Stone Edge sometimes. Whatever happens, happens. I just want to safe switch into Typhlosion. Slash, you know, fire types in general. Now that Hypno's gone, I should just be able to clean up the rest of this game with Eruptions, to be honest, because I ended up being at a decent amount of HP. If Steelix had rocks, it didn't find the opportunity to get him up, which is very nice. And then he has Maractus left, which all I really saw in it was Giga Drain, probably special attacking one thanks to Storm Drain. And then he had a Carnivine, which, I mean, shout out to Carnivine, one Pokemon that really deserved a Mega but did not get one. A Pokemon that just really deserved a lot of love in general, but just never got it. It's such a good design for this damn thing, too, and it's just going to die to an Eruption about as quickly as it enters the field. And I think that's the end of the game. So, if you've been keeping track on score at home, I got 6 points for every single match that I won. And then however many points, according to however many Pokemon I knocked out in the matches that I did lose. So I think against Maggie, I got 5 points because I didn't knock out her Butterfree. And I got 4 against Jacob because I did not knock out his Raichu or his Sandslash. So I think that put my total for the bracket at like shit, I don't know, like 28 or 34. I forgot how many games it was. But that put me in second place for my bracket. It's top 2 that move on to the finals. So with that in mind, we're actually going to see a new set of competitors. And I think we'll even get a rematch against Maggie at some point in that bracket as well, which is a really cool one. Stay tuned for that. If you guys enjoyed this so far, definitely leave a like, rating, comment, subscribe, do your thing. You know how it goes. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Later.